Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Terror Talk with a 3 instead of an E. My name is Will.
And I'm Hector.
And today on Terror Talk, we're going to talk about my favorite horror movie of all time.
Drum roll.
Gremlins 2, the new batch. Absolutely
You're
not.
like, what's that last Puppet Master one?
Puppet Master 3.
With the Nazis?
The 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the Littlest Reich?
Yeah.
Puppet Master 3 had Nazis too.
Of all time.
Of all time. No, of course we're talking about the masterpiece, the masterful, the scary. Some would say overrated. I say underrated. I say just rated properly. The Exorcist.
You know what? Anybody who says it's overrated, it's just crazy. You have to think about that movie was done at that time, and it still holds up to today.
Yeah. The effects, the makeup effects, the sound design, the cinematography, the editing, everything, it just holds up today. It's a perfect film, in my opinion. I think it's the scariest movie of all time for me. It's the most interesting movie of all time with its history and its lore and the backstories of everything like that. And it's just a great film. Like, it's a great horror film. Yes, it's the best horror film in my opinion, but it's a great film. It stands among other films that are of great stature, right? You're talking about Ben-Hur. You're talking about, Shawshank Redemption. Like, it's right there. Citizen Kane. It's right there. It's in that conversation of one of the best movies of all time. And why? Partly because of his direction. William Friedkin was the director of that film. I've done a lot of other movies. He's kind of hit or miss for me, but I did want to mention, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that he recently passed away August 7th of this year, so R.I.P. You were a great director, television writer, producer, screenwriter, everything. You were immensely talented, and you will be missed. And you made my favorite movie of all time, my favorite horror movie of all time, one of my favorite films of all time as well. And, the world is lesser without you. So we just want to give you a shout there. But tell me, what do you like so much about The Exorcist? Because my favorite movie, what is it?
I love that movie. It just, what it brings for me is, I remember that's the first horror movie I've ever seen in my life.
The first one?
Yeah. My mother was
a first one to watch.
Yeah. My mother was a very big horror movie fan. And she didn't care. She wants to go to the movies. She wants to see it. But when she gets movies at home, like on VHS, she's watching it. Yeah. That was her favorite thing to do. So that was my first one to see. I remember I was super scared. Yeah. I was at that time I was in Catholic school and everything like that.
Oh, that makes it even worse.
Oh yeah. So
did you watch it with your mom?
Huh?
Did you watch it with your mom?
Yeah, with my mom. Okay. Yeah. Anytime I watch any horror movie when I was younger, it was with my mom.
Okay.
But yeah, so it hit me in a different way because I'm in Catholic school. I come from watching this movie. I am hitting them prayer beads, baby. Yeah. Hitting Our Father's Hail Mary. You ain't getting me, Pazuzu.
Yeah, not today. I got my rosaries.
Yeah. For me, what made this movie scary to me is just the practical effects, man. It's just everything looks so real. Yeah. And that's the cool thing about it. Even watching it today, I remember I was like watching with my kids. They weren't too scared of it. There was some parts that was scary to them, but to them they're like, you know what it is? If you look at that horror movie back then, you see horror movies today. Horror movies are more quick to the point.
Yeah, this is a slow burn until she gets possessed.
But that's how good movies are made usually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, but a thing about that movie that I like is there's a lot of cool facts about this movie.
Yeah, a lot of interesting things that happen on this. A lot of interesting things that
people don't know on the set. It's supposed to be one of the most cursed movies besides Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, there's so many things that happened that was bad on the set. There's so many tragedies that happened around that set.
Actually, there was a serial killer in the movie too.
Oh yeah, the
radiologist.
The radiologist. Yeah.
He was an actual real life serial killer in real life.
That's insane.
He got caught. I think they arrested him and then he killed other people or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, he was. There's a lot of crazy facts in this movie like that.
That surrounds that movie where it's like when you think about this film and the questions it poses about faith and about heaven, hell, and all that, and demons and things like that. When you're making something like that, it brings a certain energy to the set. I think it brings I believe in positive and negative energy. Like, you think positive thoughts, positive things start happening. You think nothing but negative thoughts, negative things start happening, and that's not necessarily mystical about it, but it's just that once that's in your mind, that's all you can possibly see. So I think that movie did bring a lot of weird energy because we hear things. Yeah, The Omen as well.
Omen, they said Exorcist is one of the most cursed movies. I'm going to go with The Omen. You got people killing themselves on set.
Yeah.
way more stuff happened. I think some people died after the movie was made too,
Mm-hmm.
like the actors and actresses.
Both are, when you mess with those type of factors, you're inviting certain things in that you may not want and that you may not like. So that's, that adds a lot of allure to the film. It adds a lot of mystique, when you're watching that film and you think of these things that are happening. It gets it to the point where you're like, if you were a director, right? If you were a director, whether you're whatever denomination you are, even if you're atheist, you might think twice about making a movie related to something like this, because the new director for the new movie that's coming out, Exorcist Believer, is David Gordon Green. He's the one that remade all of the continued the Halloween franchise.
Okay.
And you gotta think maybe should I do this? Should I open this door again? This Pandora's box? Is this something that I want to?
Is this guy writing the movie too?
Yeah, and Danny McBride.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah,
I always thought that Danny McBride was a different Danny McBride.
You didn't think it was the comedian Danny McBride?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that's him.
And then I remember I was like, no, there's two Danny McBrides. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh shit, it is Danny McBride.
No, it's Danny McBride. Yeah,
and he's getting all these classic movies to write.
Yeah, and the thing is
that, is so random.
But that's like the question I posed to you before. I was wondering why there's so many comedians that are so successful at horror.
Yeah.
Why are they so good at writing horror movies?
Well, I always think you look at people like Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, some of the good comedians that I could speak of, that they have a dark past. They have a darkness in them. Yeah. Obviously, Robin Williams looks like the happiest guy in the world every time you see him. Rest in peace. But I think with a lot of comedians, there's a lot of sadness and darkness to them. Yeah,
and it's how they say that the comedy is how they deal with some of the pain,
correct,
and suffering. So that's why they have that darkness. They recognize it and they know how to cope with it and deal with it. That's one of the theories about it. But back to The Exorcist, I think this movie is an absolute masterclass. And the reason why I say this, masterclass, the reason why I say this is because if you look at every other exorcism movie after The Exorcist, and Exorcist was the OG, like it was in the beginning. If you look at other movies that passed it, pick anyone. Exorcism of Emily Rose, even The Conjuring. You could take The Conjuring. You can take any one of these movies that attempted to mimic this premise about a little girl, a little boy, somebody getting possessed. Even The Pope's Exorcist. Take them all. They all have some merits to it, but none of them, not one of them even touches this movie. Not even one of them comes close to how daring and avant-garde this film was. If you look at the Exorcist movie, right, the original one, we're talking about the original one, like, it does things, it takes it to levels that shouldn't be taken to. Like, it takes it, the violence and the perversion of the movie takes it to certain levels that no other Exorcist movie has ever even attempted to get even close to. And I'm talking about the Crucifix Scene.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Nothing is as disturbing as that ever past that. Like, we look at every single, the last Exorcism, Emily Rose, name them, any one of them. But have you ever seen something as disturbing as that scene in any of the new ones?
Also, if they were to try it, it's because, it was from this thing, like how they did it in that movie. Mm-hmm. But that's like the first movie to be like, yo, let's
go there. Yeah.
Yeah. And they went there. And it was one of those scenes, especially, we all got to remember in those times there's different movies that were made during this time, obviously. Yeah. But if you compare movies from back in the day to now, now we're seeing some crazy shit on TV versus back then. That was the first time probably.
Yeah, it was a violation and a perversion of all things that we found sacred and find things pure, right? It made it so that it wasn't safe. It wasn't safe to be in your own home, but you can't leave the home either, right? Because the issue is that if your child is possessed or somebody that you love is possessed, you do everything in your power to help them. If you saw somebody doing that, running around, being violent, moving chairs around, your normal instinct is to leave. But not in this case, because that's your daughter. You can't leave. They made it so important for you to understand that not only is Reagan suffering by the demon being possessed in there, but everyone else is suffering just as bad, and nobody can do anything about it at that time. It left you with a moment of helplessness and a feeling of emptiness that was just unmatched. It's unmatched by anything I've seen in the future with Exorcist films in general. It's the GOAT of Exorcist films.
I think it's still the best Exorcist film.
Yeah, it's the best.
I mean, there's some Exorcist movies that are pretty okay, but nothing ever touches The Exorcist.
No.
But I will say, this is the first movie I ever saw personally. This is my belief that might come close. It's Exorcist Believer.
Yeah, Exorcist Believer looks
just
good.
From the trailer.
It looks good.
I said, "Oh shit, it's about to go down."
Yeah, the trailer looks really good. It might do well. I mean, you got David Gordon Green, who I love the Halloween 2018.
Yeah.
I love that film. It's one of my favorites. That's another one of my favorites. But Halloween Ends undeniably is one of my worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
But there was 2 versions.
Which is the second
for the
version?
Halloween? Remember, didn't you say that there was 2 versions?
Oh, there was. Yeah. I went to a pre-screening from it, and they showed two versions of it. I don't know what the other version was, but the version that I saw was the movie that was released. That was the movie that was actually released.
Can you imagine the other one is like just like way
way
better.
worse.
Oh, way worse.
Maybe. Why did they
You
release
actually
that one?
see his face.
Yeah, and I walked out of the theater, and we signed NDAs, so we couldn't really talk about the movie. I saw it like 6 months before the movie came out, and we were all talking in the lobby. I was talking to some of the people, and we all hated it. Like, we hated it. And as you can see, when it was released, it was a widely hated movie as well. So I'm a little bit nervous about that movie. I have to say that the trailer looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks like it's bringing back the essence of what made The Exorcist so terrifying and scary. And I'm interested in seeing it. I'm gonna watch it, obviously.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
I'm excited, but it does look like it's gonna deliver.
It does. It does.
I
It
mean,
does. I'm
just
erring on the side of caution with him.
Yeah. For me, I'm just like, I don't know, man. That trailer, I was like, oh shit, it's about to go down.
But you got to think about it. If you're making a sequel to The Exorcist, like, this looks like it's a direct sequel to The Exorcist. Because if you look part 2 and part 3, they're pseudo sequels. They're not quite like, even though
they're not like direct.
They're not direct. And you look at
true.
because they're a little bit different. Like, even part 2 has Linda Blair in it. But it's not quite in the same capacity. And if you've seen the movies, you know what I'm talking about without going into too much detail.
Linda Blair's in this one too.
Oh, she is in this one too.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And we seen
It's already confirmed.
we seen in the trailer Ellen Bernstein. So, she was great in the original too. So, and we see her in the trailer for Believer. So, I'm fascinated. I'm interested in seeing it because, if you're really gonna make a direct sequel to The Exorcist. Now, do you know if is the same demon or no? Is it a different demon?
What's up?
Is it going to be the same demon?
I think so. It's the same Pazuzu demon.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating too. He's
Because
back.
I was reading up on it a little bit, and they were saying that Linda Blair is confirmed that she's going to be in this movie, which is great, and she still looks awesome too. Today she looks great.
She always had she had the chubby cheeks.
Yeah.
So it's like
that nose too.
Yeah, it always would keep you youthful. Like, a lot of people, like, just a quick tangent real quick, when they do plastic surgery on folks to make them look younger, they inject their cheeks to make them look fuller to hide the wrinkles. So Linda Blair always had the cherub kind of face, so her aging would have been better than others because of that. She would look the appearance of looking younger, which also worked for the movie of the original Exorcist because when the makeup went on, it looked creepier. For some reason. Like the cherub angelic face that she has with the cheeks and the nose, and then when it gets distorted and cut up and ruined in a way, it makes it worse. And the teeth and the head, it just made it worse. Like, when you see something beautiful getting disrupted and destroyed, it makes it worse.
Well, speaking of makeup, that makeup effects artist, he's on point.
Yeah, he's
Look
great.
at the priest.
What else did he do? Do you know?
I have to check.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked.
But
he
the
was
priest
the
in the movie, I don't know if you guys know
Max
this.
Vancito.
The old guy, right?
Max Vancito, yeah.
He's not old.
He wasn't old in the movie at that time.
Yeah.
At that time, yeah.
They just said, hey, let's just show off how good. And then when I watch it, even till today, I'm like, that's crazy.
The makeup is crazy. And then when you see Max Vancito
see,
as an older man, he looks like the makeup
yeah.
that they did for him back then.
And I'm just like, oh shit, bro, this is crazy. This is like Rick Baker status. You know what I mean? Like some of the great special makeup artists, effects artists. But yeah, they did stuff like that. That I felt like they were like, let me just show off how good of a makeup effects artist I am.
It seems that way. Like Dick Smith was the makeup artist.
I think he won an Oscar.
I hope he did.
I believe he did win an Oscar for this.
He passed in 2014 at 92. Damn, what an amazing accomplished man though. He did some stuff. I don't know what he did.
I wonder if he won an Oscar though.
I hope he did. I don't know.
I think so, man. They don't back in the day, especially, they actually cared about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he did. He did The Godfather, Taxi Driver, Scanners, Death Becomes Her, which is amazing. That's an amazing one too. For he won. He won an Academy Award for
Amadeus.
Yeah, Amadeus. Yeah, and his career work. He won an Academy Honorary Award for his career. Yeah, so in 2012.
He was great.
Great, fantastic.
Rick Baker won an Oscar. I know that.
What did he win for? For
I believe
London,
it was
Paris, or London, American Werewolf in London.
London, or The Howling. No. You're right.
Yeah.
In London, I believe it was.
London, yeah, because Paris was
Paris,
CGI and stuff. But going back to this movie, everything about it is perfect. Like, if you look at even the hospital scenes where they're doing her, what is that, EKG or something? What is it? What was she doing exactly?
No, they were doing some the aortic valve thing.
Yeah, they were doing that.
I saw that, and
that was
just
terrifying.
Like, that was kind of weird.
And you look at it, and I looked that up after the movie, like the third or fourth time I
Yeah.
watched it, and I'm like, that's actually how they did it.
Yeah, I know.
Relatively recently too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like
They
that
stopped
far
doing
away.
it, though,
they stopped
but-
doing it that way because it's so invasive.
That, and then they also still do the whole, they pop you right here, and then they just same exact thing, kind of look like that, and just let blood out to let the
Blood
pressure.
That sounds barbaric and medieval, but
yeah, it's crazy.
but
There's
even-
still some stuff they do like that. It's crazy.
even that, it's like you look at that scene, and that scene is so intense because even if you have anxiety about going to the doctor or getting checkups and stuff like that, or getting tested just for the results, but the process as well was so invasive and so disturbing. We all know what was going to happen. We all know it wasn't something medical wrong with Reagan, but just having her go through such trauma and such pain and suffering and being so rich. Like, being rich didn't save her from anything.
Yeah.
Like, she was rich in the film, well-to-do, and
it seemed
privilege.
like and her mom seemed like she knew a lot of people. Like,
Yeah,
up
knew a
there,
lot of people.
like actors and
Privilege,
and
and it did not save you from the damnation of hell. Like,
Yeah.
this thing came after her and got her, and man, it's such an emotional roller coaster of a film, to the point that we get to the end and we don't even talk about the priest.
Yeah,
like his story, his journey.
because his mom died, he feels guilty, and then it goes on from there.
Mm-hmm.
Was his mom in a long-term home or something like that?
Yeah,
and she passed away.
And he feels guilt because of
Yeah,
it, and exploited his guilt.
Working as a nurse, man, I can see that from a lot of family members. A lot of family members are so guilty about leaving their families at a home, nursing homes. But unfortunately, some people need total care. 24 hours, which even if you try to, you can't. So I've seen that guilt before, and seeing him go through that, and Pazuzu knew what he was doing.
He knew exactly what to
Where to
say,
hit him.
where to hit him, what the triggers were. So it was like, man, this movie, it hits on every single cylinder for me. I think it's the best horror movie of all time.
Can I bring up one little fact?
Go
One
ahead.
little thing I noticed.
Bring up the notice.
What's with all these movies back in those, like, that time? They always show the priests like chain smokers and hitting the bottle hard.
Because they're
Versus
stressed
now,
out,
versus,
dude.
No, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, versus now, you rarely see that.
I did in Pope Exorcist. I
Hell
did.
yeah, Pope Exorcist. You saw my man with a little Caesar fade. And
Yo, he had a
just,
fade, and he was drinking, dude. He was fucking
But
getting
I'm just
drunk.
saying, like, that. When's the last time you saw a movie like that? That the Pope was like drinking and smoking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like in Exorcist, especially like if you go to Rosemary's Baby, all those movies, these motherfuckers didn't play. They're hitting the bottles. They're smoking. They didn't give a fuck
I think it was to show
that they're people too.
yeah, that they're people, they're imperfect, they're imperfect vessels, and who's more inclined and better equipped to fight something that's evil, but that's somebody that understands it, that's of the people, that's not pure, that's not perfect, somebody that's done bad in their life but knows evil, knows good.
Yeah.
That's the perfect person to fight a thing like that. And I think the ending is sad, but it's also a positive ending because they win in the end, in a way. They save her soul. So it's kind of like it is a positive, it's almost a happy ending for such a dour, depressing movie. It doesn't have a depressing ending. It has a hopeful ending.
Yeah.
That good can ultimately win out. Eventually, it can win out over evil. Under the right circumstances. Like, evil exists. I think the point is that evil exists in the world, but it doesn't have to take hold of everything. It doesn't have to rule. We can fight back with good, and I think that's a powerful message too. I think it's a scary movie, but it leaves you with a bittersweet taste in your mouth, but you're kind of like, an important one too, important lesson at the end of the movie. And don't go playing with Ouija boards either. Don't do it. Did you?
I did it like 5 times. Yeah.
Oh God. Well,
dude, I did it when you went upstairs. No match.
here we go.
How pissed you
I got
would
the
be.
I got the
I had
app,
my
the Ouija
portable
board
one,
app.
I'm just like, I was gonna be pissed.
Yeah, don't mess with that stuff. But I know my place in the world. I know what to mess with. I know what to do. But what do you think of The Exorcist? Do you think, not if it's the greatest horror movie of all time, I get that's a tall task, but would you put this in the top 10 horror movies of all time? Let us know below. Comment below.
And if not, what other Exorcist movie do you recommend
Yeah.
that you would say is better than The Exorcist?
Better, or name which one's better, and also name what's the second best Exorcist movie of all time. Do it.
Don't say 2 or 3.
Don't do that. No, or you can. It's fine.
I mean,
Say
you
3
want
is
to.
good. I really like 3. But
Don't
let us
say
know
2.
below, and let us know what you think about the new Exorcist Believer. Are you going to go watch it? Let us know below. If you like this video, like it. subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell for all things horror movie reviews, news, and analysis. We love talking horror movies, and we hope you do too.
Teratoka.
Out.